a day and welcome to the Chamber Member Spotlight Podcast, where we feature one of our many small business members, the backbone of our island community. They provide much needed services and products, employ our residents, pay taxes, and give back to our community in a number of ways. We're so glad you joined us today. My name is Catherine Castro, your host for the Chamber Member Spotlight Podcast. We are excited to feature our member, the M.O.S.T Services, represented today by Robert Jackson, the founder. So half a day, Rob, and welcome to the podcast.
Half a day is really great to be here.
We're super excited to sit with you and learn more about the M.O.S.T Services. So why don't we just go ahead and dive right in?
Okay.
What is the M.O.S.T Services? And, maybe tell us about when you got started, what was inspiration behind starting the company, that sort of thing.
Absolutely. So the M.O.S.T Services is a business and technology consulting firm. I launched it the end of the summer of last year. Before that, I was working with DZSP 21 and have been on the island for over 5 years up to that point. What I'm really passionate about is technology and innovation and all things improvement. And I see a vision where Guam is a 21st century tech and innovation hub. I really see that. And my vision for the company is really to help transform Guam into that tech and innovation hub of the future, basically one idea at a time, one improvement at a time, one client at a time. And that's really what I'm about. So it really kind of starts with a strategic vision of what Guam can be and how we can get there. So M.O.S.T, what does it stand for? Well, it's mission-oriented solutions and tech services. So that's pretty much what the M.O.S.T stands for. I kind of first started it off with a more maybe a more stovepipe kind of meaning, because my background is in logistics. So the M.O.S.T were kind of started off as the main disciplines or stovepipes of logistics: maintenance, operations, supply chain, and transportation. But we're much broader than that as we started going into the technology aspects of it. And I realized that was too limiting to just look at it in terms of logistics. So the company really has a unique dual brand structure or dual brand business strategy. So I kind of have two brands. I have a public facing brand, which is really what you will hear as Rob the Innovation Coach. So out on social media, most of the platforms, you will see me out there as Rob the Innovation Coach. And under the Rob the Innovation Coach, I have a weekly podcast called Innovate Guam Podcast, where we have leaders from throughout the community, academia, trades, military, government, and industry, talking about what we're doing or what we need to do to kind of start moving to that future vision of Guam as this tech and innovation hub. I also have a twice a month column in the Pacific Daily News where I write about innovation and, again, how do we get to that vision. I've also just recently launched a Substack community. I'm building a digital newsletter there on Substack to house all of my free content, and eventually I'm going to go to a paid subscription service for some of my writing and some of the products there. So that's really to kind of build up the innovation thought leader kind of persona, and a lot of the content there is free. So it kind of, for some people, is the first introduction into Rob Jackson and how he thinks, what he can do, what skills and abilities he brings to the table. The M.O.S.T Services is like the execution arm. So if you want to hire me now to do training or consulting services And also, I offer tech sales, tech product sales. You could enter at any place on the ecosystem. So, like for example, somebody might be a viewer of my weekly podcast, and they're like, "Well, I really like the kind of things that he's saying." Well, they might hire me to come in and do some training. I'm going to be launching 3 classes at the end of this summer. One is going to be a first time supervisor, first time manager course. The second one is a process improvement course. And the third course is a Lean Six Sigma Green Belt certification prep course. So for those people who want to get that certification, this will be an opportunity for them to kind of do a boot camp, if you will, to get ready for that big test that is held through the American Society of Quality. So those 3 courses are being launched at the end of this year, and I partnered with the GCA Trades Academy, and that's where it's going to be conducted at. But they might take my course and then say, yeah, you gave me lots of good hands-on things, but maybe we need to have you come into the company and champion this improvement effort for us so that you can help us do this. And then I'm happy to do that. Come in and lend the consulting eye and help improve processes and achieve operational excellence. And in the midst of doing that, we might find that there is an opportunity for a tech solution. And then that's kind of where the tech products come in. Hey, I have this tech product that might be something that's useful to you. And through the tech product sales, it's really an agreement that I have with a very innovative company on island, IoT Solutions. I'm sure you know Raj, very great business brain, very much a business mentor and friend to me. But I have a authorized reseller agent agreement with IoT Solutions. So we've partnered up with that and bringing First Fleet Solutions to the table. And what that is an AI enabled IoT device that sits in the cab of a vehicle. It's used to kind of get real-time data to improve safety as well as operational efficiency. And I really see that this product is going to take off. It's kind of slow to adopt because it's very new to Guam, and I know sometimes Guam could be kind of slow to kind of pick up on new technologies. But at $2 a day, $730 a year, that's peanuts. Just what you get in the risk mitigation piece of it is worth that. Let alone now you add in the real world data about what's going on with that truck and those operators while they're out on the road so that you can use it to improve your company's safety as well as operational efficiency. It's well worth the price point that is being offered. And soon I think these things are going to be flying, and you're going to see them on all kind of vehicles, particularly government fleets and large company fleets out there. And, really excited about that.
I agree with you. I think that probably before you know it, it will be on every truck fleet, people that move product, people that deliver product, people buses that deliver people, right?
That was our biggest surprise because at first we were just thinking about the heavy equipment operators and those who do deliveries of like cargoes and goods.
Right.
But then it became very clear that, oh my goodness, probably the biggest risk are with people. So whether it be tour bus companies or even schools
Right.
who want to mitigate that
Exactly.
risk and be able to have that information.
This is definitely way beyond the "tell me how I'm driving" sticker at the back of those vehicles, right?
Yes.
And,
Yes.
and I think that I have used that number once or twice in my adult career, just because I have been so, just blindsided by how terrible this driver is driving on the road. And so, obviously concerned about safety
Yes,
for everybody that is on the road. So I think that this technology would be fantastic for people
absolutely.
to invest in. And you're right. That money is money well spent in risk mitigation for any company that moves any type of fleet at all.
Yes, any kind of fleets. And just think about it. We're at the point in human history where we have the real world technology right now that really can collect heartbreaking, distracted drivers, falling asleep, using your phone, seatbelt on, tailgating people too close, not going the speed limit,
Right.
too wide turns,
Right.
too tight turns. All of this kind of data you're getting in real time through alerts, and it can generate like reports so that you can kind of grade not just the vehicle performance but the operator's performance. And not only do you get it with kind of just the alert, the technical alert that comes, but then you actually have the video evidence of it as well. And if you want to track your vehicles in real time, you can look at it on the map, but then you could actually drill down, click on that individual vehicle, and you got a camera that's showing you what's going on outside of that vehicle right now, as well as what's going on with that driver inside the
That's
vehicle. That's
fantastic. That's
it's a
amazing.
huge insight to be able to
For
to
sure.
understand what's going on with your vehicle
Are you
fleets
guys
out there.
using satellite technology to be able to offer that service?
It's actually just a basic SIM card like your cell phone. So
I
it's
see.
using that same kind of technology that's broadcasting throughout, and it's saving 6 months worth of data in the cloud, so you can go back. So if there's an accident or there's an issue or somebody
Right.
claims something, you can go back and pull the actual records and know, oh, okay, what date, what time,
Right.
and go straight to that.
Yeah. And I think even too, like, how they have like ride sharing and things
Yes,
like that, right? And so in the States and in all over the world, they're very, very popular, right? But
yes.
when you utilize this type of technology, it's another safety feature that I think people, if they know that it's being utilized,
It's
would.
a forcing function to
Right.
drive good behavior.
Exactly, exactly. I love it. I think this is so interesting. So, in your in your field and in your industry, and you have had your residency here for a little bit. What are some of the challenges that that come into play for this particular industry, and how can we address those challenges?
Great question. Great question. So I tell people all the time the thing that makes Guam so wonderful is also the thing that frustrates me the most
Sure.
about it. The thing that I love about Guam is that you're kind of buffered from the outside world. And like right now, I love the fact that I'm buffered from like some of the other craziness that's going on in the States and other parts of the world, so that you kind of get to enjoy this tropical paradise and kind of have a very easy, leisurely kind of lifestyle. And it's great and it's wonderful. I love that. But at the same time, what it also does, it hides us and buffers us from the reality of what's going on in the world. And what I tell a lot of folks, particularly young people, is there's literally a tsunami, a tidal wave that's been generated from a tsunami that's heading toward us. Hadn't hit us yet, but it's a technological tidal wave. And the question is, what are we going to do? Are we going to continue our status quo and pretend like it's not coming? or are we going to proactively try to get out there and ride that tidal wave to success and prosperity? Over the next couple of decades, there will be more technological change and societal change than any time in human history. I have a graph and a presentation that I give that I stole from ARK Invest, Kathy Wood and her folks who invest in technology. And they kind of show the major technological changes from like 1780 all the way to the present. And what it looks like is kind of this. And then you get to about 1990 or so, it goes like this.
Right.
That's what's happening right now. And to pretend like that's not happening right now and it's not going to change every aspect of how we relate to the world, you would be fooling yourself. And I'm concerned about Guam because, again, that buffered state. If we don't start proactively working to get out ahead and riding that wave, we could be disrupted or even destroyed when it hits. So that's where the passion comes from of, hey, not only can we, be resilient with this, but we can actually be a 21st century tech and innovation hub. We have some of the key ingredients that will make this something that is not like rocket science. Right. It'll take lots of work and commitment, but it's not like a fantasy that, selling. We just have to kind of get behind it and make it happen. And one of the things that I've been writing about and suggesting as a starting point to this is something that I'm calling the Guam Aerospace and Defense Alliance. And what it really is modeled after is kind of what they did in South Australia, down in the Adelaide area. They really built South Australia up into like this defense technology hub, and you just see it now. It's amazing what's going on there. Yeah. But South Australia is not unique in that aspect. Many states back in the continental United States have the same kind of things. They have different organizations to help attract workload, technology, companies, etc., into their state, into their regions, into their municipalities to help drive economic development. And even further than that, in a lot of municipalities, they have organizations that make sure that their bases are BRAC proof, particularly those ones that have large industrial depots, because they don't want to lose that workload. So that alliance, that group, that organization is constantly working between industry, academia, the trades, government, military, etc., to make sure that that military base is not stagnating, that it is constantly improving. It's getting new workload in. It's improving the skills of the workers, all of that stuff, again, to make it BRAC proof. I think we need to be kind of doing a similar kind of thing because I think we have a window of opportunity. Yes, everybody's been talking about the buildup, but that's just the buildup for a marine installation and some other entities that will be here on island. What we really need to be doing is thinking larger. Are you familiar with something called the Regional Sustainment Framework? Well, it's a new policy document that DOD released last year. And what they've done is, and it was actually driven from the Pacific region, they thought to themselves, we need to relook at how our traditional model of these long retrograde supply chains for support and maintenance activities, we need to reevaluate that because that's not going to be kind of the fight of the future. And in the fight of the future, we're going to have contested logistics and distributed forces and stuff like that. So what we need to do is push industrial capability forward rather than having it in the rear. So they're re-looking at that, and what they're trying to do is push more and more industrial maintenance, sustainment, supply chain support closer to the fight. So they're even going to the degree of working bilateral agreements with countries like Japan, South Korea, etc., to use Japanese industry to help support American forces in the theater. My argument is, hey, before you go to foreign soil, we are your westernmost U.S. soil here.
Yep.
Those investments that you're going to make under this policy um, um, shift really needs to start with Guam. And just like you're working these bilateral agreements through the Japanese government and stuff, you need to be working with the government of Guam to help build up workforce development, infrastructure, etc. So it supports the environment to have the hub. I would tell you that, we've kind of been hurting here in Guam since we lost the ship repair facility. And that was basically industrial support forward. It really hasn't been replaced in earnest. Yes, there's work being done in Singapore and other places and stuff, but we saw what happened during the pandemic.
Right.
And when that independent sovereign government made decisions that impacted the U.S. forces' ability to operate and their readiness, those LCSs had to come here to Guam to get the maintenance work done.
Yes.
So we really need to be using this opportunity because they're saying they need this
Right.
for us to Guam to hold our arms up and said, we want to be part of this. We want to provide a solution, and we can, but it's going to require us to really kind of start leaning forward and getting ahead of actually having the bird in the hand for workforce development, infrastructure, and some government policy reforms so that Guam becomes the obvious place to put that industrial capability and to support the fight of the future.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we absolutely agree with you, and I think the Chamber's Armed Forces Committee would absolutely agree with you, right? And some of the efforts that the Armed Forces Committee is doing is along these lines. But I think also the government of Guam plays a huge role, right? I mean, the Armed Forces Committee is one thing, but to have the government of Guam advocate, right, for these things to happen from Washington, D.C., and then to have Congress allow for the investment to take place, right? That's always a huge issue.
Yes.
Right? And then the amount of money that it would take to invest is another issue, right? That Congress and the federal government needs to really take a look at, right? And another thing too is to waive certain things that they kind of blanket for the entire United States of America. Guam, in and of itself, is a unique part of this world. It's
Yes.
a unique part of the United States.
Yes.
We cannot be blanketed
Yes.
by something that works for the 48 and not, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So there's, again, like what you just said, that there are some federal government policies that need to be changed, right? Wow, we're going off in this very
Yes.
different world
Yes,
for this podcast, but it's so
But I love this
interesting.
discussion.
Yes.
So when the DoD put out their policy to industry for feedback and review, they went through the National Defense Industrial Association. So I replied back to them with a lot of information and feedback. The first thing that I told them was that, again, you need to look at Guam before you're starting to look at some of the foreign governments. And this relationship of what a public-private partnership looks like has to change. And they understand that, but they see it right now as DOD industry, and the foreign government. My argument is that also means the territorial government, because the territorial government is in the best place to address things like workforce development, infrastructure, utilities, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So my suggestion was to start updating some of those DoD regulations, like 21 or 4151.21, and statutes that dealt with like core public-private partnerships, DoD maintenance and stuff, to now expand it so that the territorial foreign government is an entity to the public-private partnership, and then start adding additional capabilities and authorizations for the local government to actually participate in that. So, like, for example, when you look at workforce development, we really need to have the ability to have language in the defense contracts that incentivize industry to hire local folks, not solve their issue by, I'm going to be kind of flippant here, high-priced mercenaries, right? You've got to recruit the brain power or that high-skilled worker from the CONUS or wherever, pay them top dollar to come out here and to Guam, and they only stay for a year or two, and then you have to replace them, and you got to do the kind of the same thing. No, incentivize. You have to hire a certain percentage of local workers, and that you get benefits from setting up like apprentice programs, etc. Up front, it might be a little bit pricier, but over the life cycle of the contract, it will, one, be cheaper, and two, you'll get a better readiness outcome because you'll have a more stable workforce rather than all of this overhaul. So these were all of the different kind of feedback that I gave up through the National Defense Industrial Association to kind of talk to about that. And I'm hoping to continue to beat the drum and have discussions with folks and bring along a coalition of the willing, if you will, to really affect it. Because I feel like there's a window that we have the ability to kind of impact change. After that, it might be to the place that they've already invested too much in Japan, Korea, Philippines, Singapore, Australia to do a lot of this work, and it's now bypassed Guam. And I don't want to see that happen.
What can the government of Guam do to support this effort, to show the federal government that we're committed and this is the place to be, to look at first?
Yeah, so my suggestion was, one, kind of starting this organization, this alliance, if you will, and then draft out a long-term plan and kind of bringing together all elements of the community, and then start using that plan as pointing to, look, we're serious, and we're open for business. This is what we're doing. And of course, the first aspect of the plan has got to be workforce development. We've got to show that before any contract, any workload, or whatever comes, you've got to start investing in workforce development. And in my humble opinion, again, nobody's elected me, nobody's paying me or anything, but I think it starts with ship repair and submarine repair. So you've got to kind of capture back those industrial capabilities that were lost once the ship repair facility went its way. So just start there. And then I think if you're successful in that, then you can expand to aerospace and heavy equipment, war readiness material, etc. But I think it starts because we're an island territory, maritime environment out here in the Indo-Pacific. You start with ship repair in submarine repair, and then you grow it from there. And those investments need to happen before any guarantees or contracts are in place, that we double down on that and then advertise to the world, look, we're serious. This is what we're doing to attract industry in. And I think industry is going to come.
I mean, I agree with you. I think that that's super important, but I also think that one of the detractors, if you, lack of a better word, that we have is that we need to further harden our infrastructure, right? We have like World
Yes.
War II like infrastructure here,
Yes.
right? And that was built, when the United States came back and liberated Guam
Yes.
from the Japanese, and so the occupation. But we need to do a better job at that, right? And I truly believe that we've lost potential investors because we don't have the infrastructure in place, right? And
I
obviously,
agree.
skilled workforce is a big part of that. But the
A
other,
close second is infrastructure.
for sure,
Yes.
for sure. And I know
Yes.
we can have this, a huge conversation about this, but we have to move on in this podcast because I do have a few more questions before we have to wrap this
We're
up.
having fun here.
Yes, indeed. I love it. I love it. So, we talk about the most services and what you do, and you have multi levels of services that you bring to your clients, right? You are a coach. You offer consulting services. You offer this device and this platform for risk mitigation. What would you say would be like your best coaching advice, or for people that are interested in doing what you do, or in starting their own business, or in being an entrepreneur?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. So, first of all, how to contact me. My direct line to this phone right here is 671-688-8878. You can also contact me via email, and it's rob.jackson@themostservices.com. And Rob the Innovation Coach, my alter ego, my public facing persona. I'm on all major social media platforms: YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, and now Substack. And under Rob the Innovation Coach, you can reach out to me there as well, and I'll get back to you. Now, question about entrepreneurship. I think that is the future. I think that the old model of work hard in school, get good grades, get into a good college, get a good job, work your way up, and then that's where you're going to get a successful life. It's not going to happen that way. That model is broken, and with that exponential curve that I was telling you about, it's going to create a lot of creative disruption and creative destruction of jobs, industries. The bullet has already, several bullets have already been shot out of the gun that's getting ready to go through the head of some of the most basic business models that are out there. They're already done for. Technology is getting ready to eat those. So
Yep.
I think it becomes more important for people to, one, invest in themselves, learning not to get a grade or a certification or a come up in their company, but in something that you can use to carve your own niche. So whether you work for a company, you want to be an entrepreneur, or if you're going to start your own thing outside of the borders of a company, you get to be an entrepreneur. But you always got to be creating your own niche, your own brand, and investing in yourself and seeing these opportunities and be able to use those critical thinking skills about how you can leverage this for not just the betterment of you, but more importantly, of potential clients. Being able to go to people and talk to them about problems that they don't even realize, come to them with solutions that they didn't even know they needed, kind of things. That's really what makes you stand out, and that's what's really going to make you successful. When you're able to do that, then people are willing to pay you and compensate you, and you'll be very well compensated. But first, you kind of want to serve others, and if you're that far ahead that you're telling them about problems that they didn't even know they had and delivering solutions that they even think about, you're going to do well. You're going to
Yeah,
do well.
for sure. What's next for you? What's next for the Most Services? Are you a one man team or?
I am a one man show right now. Now, under the most services, that's true. But as you know, I'm collaborating.
Yes,
That's
for
the way
sure.
that I can only be good. So the agent agreement that I have with Raj and IoT Solutions, huge. So that allows me to move in that area. I also have Jay Forsyth with his PR firm. He helps me with a lot of my PR and social media presence, as well as the production back end on my podcast, as well as a lot of many invaluable services. He's a great sounding board, advisor, etc. And then there's other people in the community who maybe don't necessarily pay or have a formal business relationship with, but we are like-minded kind of people that we use each other and bounce off ideas, and we go and we work different projects and stuff like that together. So really it's kind of collaborating in order to make all of this happen, because I can't do it all alone.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Guam is a great place to do it. I think
Yes.
that there's so
Absolutely.
many innovative minds here, and just to be able to tap into that and work with people collaboratively, that's what I enjoy a lot about being here. And we just live in a very, very special place.
Yes.
So I want to talk to you a little bit about your chamber, and why did you join the chamber, and why is that important for you?
Yeah. So the chamber is absolutely irreplaceable in my mind. I started irregularly going to the chamber meeting when I was working for my previous company, but I saw the possibility there. Once I decided to step out on my own, it was no longer a nice to have. It became something that I needed to do because, like I said, I'm a one man show. The only way I'm going to be successful is through collaborations with others. And what the chamber does is brings together all of the movers and shakers, the folks who are making it happen out there, so that one, you can just be informed on what's going out there. So those ideas about, okay, what kind of problems are out there, what kind of potential solutions, but also being able to work with people who have skill sets or have equipment or infrastructure or technology that you don't have, but maybe you can partner together and be able to go after different kind of opportunities. So it's been invaluable to me, and I want to continue using the chamber as an opportunity to build relationships. I'm slowly making my way around to a lot of the different business leaders and the companies and organizations they represent. But my goal is to really hit every business on Guam. Not to say, hey, I got all of the stuff that I want to sell you, but more, hey, I want to get to know you and where you're coming from, and I want you to get to know me and where I'm coming from, and we can have a relationship. Whether we ever trade dollars or anything, it doesn't matter. it's bigger than that. It's about kind of the community, if you will.
Exactly.
So I'm looking forward to going around, meeting folks, doing office calls, having discussions, having phone calls, trading emails, and all that good stuff.
Fantastic. Well, you know what? It's just been such a pleasure. I have learned so much in the short time that we've had together, and I want to say we've got to do this again.
Yes,
Because
I
I'm
would
pretty
love
sure
to.
I'll get phone calls saying, that podcast that you did, we want to know more, right? You're just whetting people's appetite. But thank you so much for joining us today, Rob.
No, thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity.
And we appreciate knowing some, your insights, your recommendations, and I think that again, people will want to go back to this podcast and just say like, wow, that's just some interesting, great stuff, and they're going to want to learn a little bit more and want to meet you. So we encourage our residents and our business community to support our small businesses like the M.O.S.T services that make a big difference in our community. So thanks again, Rob.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank our listeners for tuning in and listening to today's show. We encourage you to drop us a note to share your comments on this episode or visit our website or social media platforms. We truly appreciate your feedback. We look forward to having you back on the Chamber Member Spotlight podcast again very soon. All podcasts are currently available on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, so give them a listen. This is your host, Catherine Castro. Until next time, take good care and make it a great day, Guam.